Okay, everybody, let's get to it for a giveaway Thursday. Brian Weaver, hey, you were the first one in for gold, so you get a gold membership and then 10 pence, volume 3. Didn't you win one already? If you didn't, that's fine. You win a volume 3. We'll give a couple more away during this hour. Every Thursday, we give away some gold memberships and some books, volume 3 books for everyone to check out. So do take a look at that. I want to talk about what's going on the midday HSI dot today. Spend some time looking at this phenomenon and getting into how to take advantage of it. For the QQQ, for the SPY, we've got definitely interesting midday setups, triggers. As a midday trade, as a day trade itself, you know, can last an hour, 2 hours. We did something earlier this week, and it ended up being a big monster. You know, didn't catch the whole thing, but certainly what we've got going on right now is a perfect example. I mean, here's SPY right around here. It's 12.12 right now, almost 12.15. And what we're typically looking for is whatever the HSI dot is showing up in the markets. We start looking for some kind of reactive trade, midday trade. Now, ideally, I would like patterns with the scenario, which we don't have today. But I'll look at this area potentially right now because it's usually during the 12 noon Eastern hour, plus minus 30 minutes on either side. But, you know, it's starting to focus on that area. Yesterday I posted something about the midday deal. Yeah, right here. So we had a big midday dot right in there. HSI triggered a couple of dots before the announcement, and that was a huge move. I mean, on the Qs, they went from like 307 to 314, and for the SPY, I mean, 397 to 402 is a huge move. It's crazy action though, really crazy. So, big shout out to everybody in the chat. Hey, Brian, he's saying there's a 5-minute bearish bat on ES. Yeah, probably. We don't have any bullish pattern with this, but I'm looking right here. This is an example of where we want to pay attention to these. I'm not saying this is a flat out, black box execute as soon as you see the dot, but I'm saying look for those clear relationships, either pattern levels or pattern zones. Yesterday, it was really about things like a bearish pattern. We had this shark and it was trying to become a 5-0, and that's what happened. Currently for the SPY, you would look at that dot and say, somewhere around 397.90, 397. Just take a look at this. Here's the dot. There's the first signal. Again, this is for the SPY. We look at SPY on Qs or futures. And there's the dot. So in that vicinity, do we have any patterns? Do we have anything that would match up in this general area? No. I mean, right now, no. And this is actually, probably a better example of without a clear pattern. You're probably just going to watch this. I'm not, this one's a little bit different than the one we looked at on Tuesday, or even the one we did in our gold member session on Monday. So big shout out to the chat. What's up, Justin? Oh, yes, absolutely. So Justin's pointing out some of the new, got to say, appreciate that, Swooping Hawk. Swooping Hawk and some of the other moderators have been working on these cheat sheets. And so, let me make that before we go any further. Go over to harmonictrader.com, everybody. Okay, right there. And become a basic member. That gets you into the basic members page where all the information, including the free trials, get with the TradingView software that we're working with today. And all of that's available right there. Just send your username, your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst.com. And then the cheat sheets and other information, here are all the books, videos, and then these cheat sheets are available on the basic members page. And then over on the Discord, which is our community, again, there's a whole other deeper set of references and people that are in there. And let me just show you guys that. So, one second, make sure this opens up properly. Okay, there you go. So in the Discord. And in the education section, where do you have that? Swooping Hawk, where is that in the Discord? Because all of the education resources, software videos, this is the other place to go. Sweet, thank you. Here, he just put the link in the, yep. He just put that link in the chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. So do join us here, and then you can direct message me. Hit up the other mods if you have questions about the software or whatever. Definitely get into the Discord. That's the active part of Harmonic Trader, and get with the software. Great. So let's get back to this right now. There's the SPY. Let's really quick look at the Qs. Qs have a 5-minute dot as well, but no pattern up here. I mean, it's been a heck of a run off the close from yesterday, and yesterday's action was some of the wildest I've seen all year in that last hour, 2 hours of trading. S&P was swinging 40 points every 15 minutes. Um, Many of you know I like to look at the intraday, 5-minute intraday time frame as well as the 30-second time frame, and a lot of people question that. The reason why I look at the 30-second versus the minute, you're going to see more structures. This is a perfect example. Here's the QQQ. We know we have somewhere in this ballpark of a 5-minute pattern. Now here's the QQQ on the 30-second time frame. There's something around 312. Yes, there's a crab pattern, this bat pattern from earlier, about an hour or so ago. Not as significant, but at least it shows you that there's some structures there. Maybe this might be the first support area intraday for after the early morning run. Around 312.63 is the low end. You're at 312.53 at the moment. But I look at those comparatively. It is amazing, though. Yesterday did have a really nice deep crab pattern. In spite of all that action, I think it's important that we review in the craziness, all the dynamics that went down, because you had an early completion yesterday at around 10:30 in the morning, and it just went sideways. Then it gave you some counter HSI signals where at least I was trying to play the long side into that announcement, which ended up being pretty good. I'm going to show you something that was not so good in a minute, but it still did incredibly, the type 1. A lot of gyration here, but once we hit target 1 yesterday, and I got to blow this up because it's important to note, and these are the things that really separate a type 1 versus a type 2. In that crazy action, I mean, look at those are 5-minute bars, and that's 4 or 5 points in the course of minutes. But target 1 at 309 came right back, hit the hop level, and that was it. No confirmation, but in that kind of environment with things being so volatile, you're kind of just automatically having to respond to levels, and if you don't, you get burned. And again, I'm going to show you where I got burned yesterday. But down to 308 was target 2. Now this went all the way to 306, but even in yesterday's crazy environment, we still satisfied the 1 and the 2. And the yellow dot, real nice pattern. But look where the dot finally said, hey, this is the area beyond the zone we want to respect as resistance no matter what happens. And that area was upwards in this 313 level, on the low end around 312.50. Was not easy. But we'll look at a couple of these. I think it's, as it relates to today. The big thing about the Qs on the daily, and I really need to kind of go over this daily time frame before we get out of here or go into crypto, is that we did trigger on the type 2 retest of the long-awaited shark, the bat. There's the type 1 from 10 days ago, full retest, and now we triggered HSI yesterday. There's the bat pattern. Hold on one second. Only thing we're looking for now is a retest of the zone and yesterday's high, which is 315. So keep an eye on that. We're early stages of a major retest of, I would say, probably the most important bearish pattern we have seen since the top. Because if you're going to get a continuation of what's happened over the last 15 years, Now you're two of two. And this was something we have said all along, that we would want a two of two secondary confirmation at a clear pattern. And this is a continuation, bearish continuation pattern. I think we're still 3 days away, maybe 3-4 trading sessions away. But it is something to start considering going into next week. Hold on one second. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Swooping Hawk, for that. Again, check the cheat sheet, the HSI cheat sheet in our Discord link. And then I'll post that to the website as well for everybody. So again, these are the major patterns. The QQQ since about 2 weeks ago has been the secondary pattern aside from the SPY, where we've been saying if you want to understand the whole macro environment, let's just follow the SPY chart. And then 2 weeks ago I said, let's now start looking at the Qs, because they are shaping up with a lot of structures that are saying, if that's it, the Qs are going to show it, probably even more so than the SPY. Now, here's the SPY on its secondary retest that went down, and basically this is making a high for the year already in February. And it's supposed to be in a type 2 return off of the shark. There's the type 1 down to target 1. We've been way in front of this, like 407, 406 to 376, back to 412, 414, and now back down here. But 395, this whole 395, 398 needs to not only hold, but start to turn up aggressively. Yesterday should be a one-day phenomenon. If it's not, and you start breaking down after yesterday, or even notice we have yet to break down any 3-bar lows. It's been a little while since we've had a 3-bar breakdown. On the last 3-bar breakdown was back in early March on the 9th, and snap right back with a 3-bar breakout on the 16th, and has continued. So squeeze it down into this range. We are looking for some kind of bearish confirmation up in this level before I would consider anything. But take a look. It's nowhere close to registering a bearish confirmation. And notice what amplified RSI is doing. It's holding not only the 50, but starting to break out into new highs since the early March oversold reading. And then HSI is not as exciting, but look, it's been above the 50 level all the entire month of March. Holding up here, dipped down last week, but now back up here. We're looking for ultimately an overbought reading, which still has to take it higher. Yeah. All right. Hey, I'm now looking at Qs right now on the 5-minute. That's starting to turn around. All right. This might be something where off of that 30-second, remember that 30-second chart? Go to the Qs here. Maybe this is something. It's coming off of that pattern here. 312.63, now 313. Mix that with the 5-minute. All right, that's, what you're looking for is this high level to hold and then break out essentially to new highs for the move. I've been saying for a while that 312, 313 is really the significant level, because that's the daily XA point. I think at a minimum we got to go to 315.42, and that could be today to retest yesterday's high, get the check back move. You're definitely want to trade it tight because you're up here in a rather potentially significant bearish level. you would still need to check back in two bearish candles to get a yellow dot. So that still says we can climb higher. And we'll see by the end of today. But it's, look, yeah, those 314s look pretty good. 60 cents for today. But I would think 329 is the maximum possibility here. Let's see what goes on today. If it's really strong, you're going to close not only above yesterday's high at 315 and a quarter, but and then some. A strong close, 316. Trading 313 at the moment. I'm not trying to FOMO you guys, but we're there. We're there in that last bit of completion where you can rush into it. The other thing you want to monitor, especially when we're this tight, tell me what amplified RSI is doing, because that's our hypersensitive relative strength reading that's always early. That's pushing back up into the overbought zone. If that really starts to go, if we can break up into new highs and spend a couple days up here, then yeah, 329, 330 to the hop level now would still be acceptable on the retest. Just really good says it's a very interesting market. I think it's a whipsaw market. It's definitely it's a range bound market, and I think you're just getting tighter and tighter. I've been saying for a month or two that this breakout, if they're going to try to break it out off of the monthly downtrend, would require 8 weeks or more of just relentless, smash it every time it tries to break out of a critical structural level. It looks like this. There's the clear breakout. And they tried in January, at the close January, February, they tried to give it a nice continuation follow through, smashed it right at the close of the month. Now we're back again here. Same kind of deal. If you break above last month's high, again, that's where we are now, 313.19. That's why you might, you hit some resistance yesterday, but this is so critical because you're into new highs for the year. Literally right where you are right now. We're trading 313.16, 313.13 on the Qs right now. And we have a midday HSI dot. So again, I'm playing that to the upside. I think the 314s on the Qs, this goes now. 60 cents, bang it. Let's see how that goes. I'm there on, what do I got? 5, 10, 6, 6, 6 there. No, 7. And if it's anything like yesterday, which was the last few days where they run really strong into the end of the day, you're at that point. This completion will be a serial move. Yeah, Evan's right. Apple monthly, and it's all been about these long-term weekly charts. Here's Apple monthly is what he's saying. And we have a dot. Why not? How about some 315s? Maybe some 315s too. Really speculative. This thing's going to blast off. Well above the VWAP. I know those VWAP people love that. There's Apple in a monthly. Evans, saying, hey, how can that be bearish? I don't think it is. And you're only a week away from the close. This is Apple. Check back. Oversold here back in July. You check back. There you go. Because there's the check back bar. 1 green candle, 2 green candles. 8 months later, now you go with the follow through. Yeah, here we go on the cues, guys. I picked up 315s at 30 too. But I like all of that. Listen, I think it's going to be once they spring it, it's not going to get unsprung. And this is the other consideration for a lot of your markets that if we're going to start a new cycle here and now, and it's so counter to what a lot of people are thinking, you're looking for all-time breakouts that don't go to like a 113, maybe initially, but it's above the prior highs. I mean, even if we just connect dots for Apple, there's nothing really that we can draw here that's fits into a shark or whatever. You're looking for this a linear move. Here's Microsoft, which I think is got 295 in its sights because of the weekly target. Sorry, daily. Here you go. Wrong one. Got to get Microsoft. You saw Apple. Now here's Microsoft on the. This is something for the daily. We do have HSI and we have a check back. We need 2 more red candles for a yellow dot. So it is setting up for a type 2, but what you want to see this thing do, blast through. And if not, okay, when we get to a yellow dot in 3 or 4 sessions from now, it could be Tuesday or even next Thursday. It's not yet. It's still quite early. I'll take a look on the retest. And I think 295 to go back up to the hop is, not crazy on this move. Here's the other one that has been great. Most of you know Google. What did we say? 93.33. How many times did we say it? A lot. And it came back for this kind of tertiary test or, well, within, especially this last little ditch move. Now, all right, we triggered HSI yesterday. Are we going to get the check back? Can we get to 111? That's been our target too anyway, all along. So next week or so, how these resolve themselves is critical. I think the different part about most of these setups is most of these patterns is that we're above the 200-day, your moving average, again, for the first time since 15 months ago, all the way back here. And that was when it was looping over, rolling over. This one, trying to turn the other way. Can this turn up? Can this be the kind of the breakout point? I think so. And I think it's shaping up at least in a more positive sense than the last few tests of that 200-day moving average. But I would still like to see it hit target 2 and experience a rejection. Like Microsoft, like a lot of those, I think we're going to come up on that pretty soon where it could give you an opportunity, knock it down, have a pullback again before the larger breakout. And what we see a lot of times is that first quarter, whatever the high is in the first quarter, and this is historically, especially on up years, you have a consolidation and then you break it out later in the year. If it's a summer rally or if it's, later in the fall. But I think coming up to these levels, 111.28 on Google, from 93 has been a heck of a move. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. Evan's saying you're short SPY on the 5-minute. Let's see. Let's go back to that before I jump to crypto. You might be right. if that 5-minute level doesn't hold. Remember, it's within this hour, really 12 to 1 o'clock. Can take it back to like 11:30, go to 1:30, somewhere. It's a midday thing. So we're going through this midday lull here. Where's the 30-second? Sorry. Let's take a look where those patterns are. Oh, we hit a couple of HSIs on the 30-second off of that little bat. Let's see what happens here. 397.30, that's it. There you go. Maybe that's a retest of the 30-second pattern. I expect it to take a little bit of time, but you might catch this. Come back to this. Let's go to the cues. Yeah, the cues are a few levels right off the early morning peak. 312.79, 312.63. That's not a bad area to be looking for this thing to go sideways midday before trying to maybe make another attempt. Yeah, the one thing I do see is it couldn't bust through the 886 for the day. I mean, look, high to low, right back to the 886. It's pretty nuts to the penny. To the penny. 382. Yeah, that's possible. Let's see. Listen, I want to take a really quick look at crypto. And what happened yesterday with Bitcoin was nothing, quite frankly. And I do think that if you can get something like this yesterday, now you see it down $1,000 or $1,500, something like that. These are going to be opportunities every time. And I want to get to really the daily level because now we are at the 21st on Tuesday. And now what? Because we weren't at a low, but we're at a possible inflection. Look at it like that. Let me blow this up. Bitcoin did generate bearish HSI 3 days ago, 4 days ago. Hold on one sec. Thanks. And checked back yesterday. So you still need to see 2 bearish candles before you consider anything going on, but we could be in a pause here at that 28 level and maybe go sideways in this zone. And still, I think 25.3, 25,000 to back test that would not be a thing. Yeah. Hold on one sec. There you go. This is all based off the Type 2 Shark, which has hit the levels nicely. Target 1 up to target 2. But again, look at what's going on with RSI. We still haven't rolled over. This hanging up there on the overbought level, expanding is, that's not a bad spot. I would think that, if we roll over in a day or two, that will trigger, but this will only be another temporary reaction, much like what you had back in January. Because this, on the daily, is a complex structure. So it'll be an M formation. It'll go down, probably go sideways in this zone, and that would be it. It won't, it might threaten to do much, but other than a couple $1,000, I would look at this as the zone. If it's Think of it this way: if the pattern's going to be strong, we're going to pause on the type 2, and then HSI will let a lot of air out of the tire and give us some kind of high level trigger. And it'll trigger up in the zone a counter trend HSI and then take off. Trying to kind of jump that a few steps. But with HSI already out of the zone here, I think you're going to pause no matter what. Maybe it's a 30-day or a 30 session pause on the 4-hour. But that's what I would look for: the next yellow dot on the downside as your major trigger. Isn't that just building more bearish divergence? Dalton's asking. Look, what we saw on the downside with a lot of those kind of signals was that they led to counter trend reactions, and that was it. And I think where we are now, with clinching the pattern, getting out of the long-term zone above 23,000, we now look for these pullbacks to be corrective within a larger uptrend. And you really want to be, if we're right about that, and we're right about the fact that we are in a clear type 1 up to the target 1 and 38,000 on the crab, okay, then these pullbacks and these corrections, if they last 2 weeks, 10 days, whatever, hope that they're strong and short, and then they give you the next leg, and you start building like that. I mean, there's just no reason why it wouldn't. You're not going to moon just yet, but you should have aggressive breakout moves, some follow through, and then strong corrective flush outs, and then you start walking steps. I don't know if we'll get to 21,000. I would think more like, if it's really strong, it's going to stay high up in that zone. You're not even going to bust out of the zone, and you're going to get a counter trend HSI signal that then gives this to its next 1618 thrust. Evan's saying he's excited because BTC pumped 4% in an hour. Yeah, and that's great to see. I mean, at least action is back there. You got some action back in Bitcoin, where it was just sideways to down until really second week of January. And that breakout, has been sustained. So I think everyone's got their eyes on Bitcoin now. If you don't yet, anyone that's going to give it a second look is doing so now, and Michael Saylor might be redeemed after all. But for our purposes, I still say this: just enough time has progressed in your past where you've exceeded this top end of the zone, which is BC level was 27,314. You broke out, okay? And even if that takes another 6 months, our eventual objective from this point to the right is go to target 1 at 37,320, but that could come back up. Hold on one second. There you go. Ethereum's the same deal. This one, there you go. It's got a yellow dot, retesting your yellow dot. We are up here against resistance for sure. Maybe we don't get through 1830, but the next clear bullish close, and it's really the first candle on Ethereum, which was there, Okay, it's firm breakout above that 1790 level, 1800, then sets it off. Where are you going? Yeah. So HSI is rolling over. You're at that 50 level. Maybe you go up a little bit more, but I'm more interested in the next daily signal on Ethereum, wherever that is. If it comes up a little bit and then down and triggers, it's beyond these patterns. This would negate the secondary retest. However that type 2 ends up, okay? The whole dud factor of going 30 days, maybe just grinding sideways to down and then giving a bullish reading somewhere up in usually in the zone. I mean, where, because it's not the bearish pattern, resistance is not going to be not going to be effective at all. And so what you get, the dud phenomenon inside of 30 days. And there you go. Look, that from confirmation on it's a type 2. Go to the type 2, go to 30 days, go to the 19th of April. Why not? This time next month, I really do think you are going to start assessing a new character to Ethereum, Bitcoin, and the like, probably, and Binance Coin, where this zone becomes a pause within the longer term trend. And then it sets you off to go for the target one at 2400. It's from really, go to April, but it starts now. But this is what we're strategizing for. Something like this, come off that dot now in the next 3, 5, 10 days, give us a pullback, just like Bitcoin gave you a pullback to 20 before it went to 28. I think it's going to be the same kind of a thing. Shakeout, yellow dot's going to be there, and then you're into full acceleration mode. Binance Coin, I'm starting to like a little bit more because it has something that the other ones don't have as clearly, which is it's really the BAM phenomenon on the long-term basis. What is the BAM phenomenon? It is like this. It's when you can trace out 4 of the 5 legs of a W or M structure and gives you the clear levels of when you exceed those areas where it can possibly go. So Binance Coin, even with that scam wick from back in November at 400, gave you a perfect B point for a bat that can take you to an 886. And that 886, because you have a low B point at the 42%, which is real nice, once you get above that 385 or close above 400 anything, you're shooting the gap here, and you go to 600. The Ethereum and Bitcoin really don't have this kind of formation. Also, Binance Coin has held its own a lot better than most other coins. So if we're thinking that Binance Coin is going to be around for a while, which it probably will, then if this is the end of the cycle bear market there, what happens beyond here? Likely we go to new highs eventually. I mean, it's, one thought, not only the 886, but maybe what happens is this becomes an all-time bearish ABCD, where you're projecting the next cycle leg in that kind of a manner. 900, maybe even up to 1,000 with a, maybe that becomes a crab pattern. Who knows? Just trying to get people to start looking at the weekly possibilities the closer we get to next month. Because then a couple things will happen. The Bitcoin narrative is going to get talked up even more. The whole halving for 2024, it's just going to attract more people. And I think into crypto space, unless something dramatically changes, this coming cycle with all the survivors and leaders of the last bear market are going to take off. What's going on? Hold on one second. Don't know who's calling me. Someone's buzzing me. Anyway, let's get back to it. So this is the long-term deal with all of these major coins, Bitcoin, that's where we are. If this is truly early in the bottoming stages, which it is, then you're going to want to be thinking about the possibility of challenging the all-time highs on something like Binance Coin, being there at the right spots where the acceleration can happen, which is something like the BAM breakout, bad action magnet move. We do have a, one second, we have a cheat sheet on the BAM. Let me bring that up. Bring that over in a second just to show you the illustration, but that's where we have to be with the whole argument of crypto and Bitcoin, that you're looking for the end of that cycle. It didn't happen at 11,000. It happened at 15,000 and change, so be it. There were some patterns there, but what it really means is that if you were at that low, 15 to 25,000, this doesn't matter because of what the next cycle is going to take you. Here you go on the basic members page, folks. Right there. Get the RSI BAM cheat sheet and also the indicator, because that reviews a lot of the confirmation strategies. But this is the BAM format. Let me blow this up. Where'd it go? There you go. Sorry. Don't know why it's taking so long. This is the thought behind it. Okay, you can trace out 4 of the 5 legs, which that's what you can do with Binance Coin. Put it side by side here. And we did it the same way on the downside with Ethereum and Bitcoin, targeting that 886 move. So at a minimum, that's what I'm saying for your, I would say, conservative target coming off of this long-term low. And it looks like that. And this is at a 40%. You go to the 886. That's quite a move. So let's not dismiss Binance Coin anymore. That's been number 3 on our list, but look for positive entries there. Speaking about positivity, let's give away a gold membership. First person to type in gold will give you a 30-day membership to the gold Harmonic Trader Gold, and that's all available here on harmonictrader.com. That includes our 3 ideas and our market updates, which I posted a bunch this month. A lot of them have worked out. Some of them I've discussed here, others not so much, but crypto ideas, probably put up about 8 crypto ideas, 6, 7 crypto ideas. And a bunch of those hit yesterday, just to let you know. Take a look at that. If you have any questions, reach out to the moderators on Discord as well. So let's get back to it. Number 4 on the list, XRP, and what do you know? What do you know? It started to go. Slow mode is, let me see that. I'll have to fix that next time. I'll check that out next time. Thank you. I know the chat's in slow mode. But yeah, I'll have to fix that next time. Anyway, XRP folks did the breakout. We've been saying 35, 37, anything under 40 cents, and this is it. That's a great 3-bar breakout on your weekly. Really no bearish confirmation to run into. And your indicators are in a really great spot. This is unlike the last thrust that tried to give you a fake out. The last thrust there, go back to October, was hitting HSI overbought. This one is different. HSI coming off the 50 level. So you've got a chance, I think, to run as high as 58 in the zone. Maybe certainly above 50 on this move. But early stages, and we've said all along, you're not really concerned with 50 cents. This long-term get paid to wait kind of a deal is go to target one at 92 cents. So that hasn't changed. Stay with that. I mean, XRP is going to stay on our list. That might even go to number 3 if it gets going. Recall as well, I did give away this one a while back, and this was a 3 ideas. We've been in front of XLM, the Stellar Lumens, for a while. And this one had all the patterns. I mean, it's got big patterns prior to this that are up around 12, 13 cents. It's 3 or 4 crab patterns. But what we've been focused on has been the type 2 deep crab. That's type 1 at 9.4. Came back down. Your XA level was 8.1 cent. Confirmation was right there around 7.5. About as nice as you can get. Now, this is in a type 2. Right off of the crab pattern, you go to 10.9 cents. That's your objective now, with the hope that this is finally the 2 of 2 that sets off the bigger structures. Your weekly charts, perfect T-coin material. This one's probably, I think, it's got a little more fundamental application. Not that I want to start being able to say, hey, this one's better than the next one because of the technology. No, but everything you want to see. Look, all-time 886 for the cycle. That's up around, all your numbers are around 11.5 cents where the true support is. And so you're 9.3. When it does pop off and come off of there, you're talking about something like this, much like XRP, where you go to 35, 38 cents. Keep an eye on that one. Number 5 has been a few things for a while. I mean, we've been bouncing this around with Solana, which I still say this warrants close watch because it was basically priced to go to dead at $8. But look, we have a shark pattern. The reason why it's not doing anything is a couple of bearish indicator signals around 25, capping it for months. Other people have other thoughts on this one. They think it's, bad news. I still say this is a type 2 yet to be realized. And the deep crab marked the low at $12, even though it went to 8. I would just, on principle, would want to see the retest type 2. It's at 22 now. Let's just be patient. Keep an eye on that one. Just fundamentally, I would like the retest. And the one that is probably should get on the list is Cardano, because this has been a tricky scenario, falling just so close to being a perfect type 2. and now rallying, 38 cents where we're looking for 28.4. It hit 29.5. One or two of the smaller exchanges, which one was it? KuCoin or OK Exchange, one of these. Yeah, this one. So Kraken actually, on Kraken, it was a type 2. But I think with the fact that your 200-day moving average is still capping this action, I'll look for the possibility of some kind of acceleration maybe in a few more months. But Cardano, we probably should start looking at it and not dismiss it, because I think the way that I'm thinking about all the crypto coins and the crypto communities, and I learned this going to the Bitcoin conference in 2021, the crazy one in Miami. I mean, talk about cult. It was cult with people who had a lot of money, whether it was paper money, digital money, a lot of people throwing around money and very emotional reasons. And I think it doesn't matter what they think or do. I'm trying to just think about how people are going to get attracted to this next cycle and where they're going to throw their money. And I mean throw it. Because you're going to get the moon moves because people are chasing stuff out of nowhere. And we want to be in on it early. That's what these patterns say to me. These big patterns, like, well, of course, the XRP thing. That weekly pattern is a monster. And it's a beautiful harmonic pattern structure that, let's say this thing makes its progress and it gets to 92 or it gets to $1.30, and you look back and be like, wow, I wish I capitalized on this weekly pattern. It must have been so easy. Not really, because you have to wait through almost a year of sideways action, but now that you're well beyond a lot of the static downtrend resistance, you're building here. And even if it took a year or 2 years to go from 40 to $1.40, that's an insane move. It's a fantastic move. So let's keep an eye on that stuff. Interesting times, folks. Interesting times. I want to be paying attention now for next year. And I really do think after, no matter what happens for the rest of the year, whether the market completely craps out or not, it is going to be the backside of this. It's going to be next year's action, the 2024, the months leading up to the presidential election, where you're going to get the markets to move. I think we're just starting to see it. The volatility yesterday, I think, was kind of a harbinger of things to come. Couple of more. Hey, who wants a volume 3? Type V3 in. I'll give away another book. Also, folks, you have to reach out for all the winners. You have to go on the Discord, okay, and go on the Discord and search for Miss Stephanie and send her your information. She's right there. Send it to Miss Stephanie right there to win. Okay? Neelam, thank you. V3, Neelam. You win the V3. I'll give away one more V3 and one more gold membership. Actually, let's give away the gold membership right now. First person to type in gold wins the gold membership, GOLD. And guys, you can get the software if you want to try both software on that. You'll go to the gold membership. Here's the gold members page. Again, I just to show everybody all of that. Edward, you get the gold. Although, didn't you win before? Scott, you won last time too. Come on. If you won before, please let other people win. I'll give away one more book and one more gold membership. If you did win recently, please save some time for others. But check out, this is the gold membership, and then here are the live recordings from Monday and our 3 ideas. So all of that's available, and then this is what you get for the gold. And activate both software, so you get 2 software too. If you have questions, reach out to me on Discord with this. All right, let's get to it. Couple more crypto. Important crypto. Like here's Litecoin. And I think Litecoin, like a lot of these privacy coins, check what's going on here. Litecoin just gave you a deep crab, a bat pattern followed by a regular crab back to back. There are patterns out here that are doing this. And I know some of the crypto are mooning. We want to look for these situations. A lot of the back-to-backs are giving super reliable levels. For Litecoin now, you're on a full return. Okay, all the way back to 99.48. Other ones that are giving you that are better spot than this, not so far away, Zcash. I've said this many times. From a harmonic pattern perspective, folks, these are where you want to be positioning. Okay? You want to position in that stuff. Couple more. Here is, here's the other one I want to talk about, Ren. We've gotten a lot of questions on this, especially with all the crazy action. This has been up and down 50%, 4 or 5 times. I mean, look at this. Remarkable. Just in the last 30 days. There you go. That's even better. Okay. A lot of people on the first time Ren broke out, the FOMO to 14 all the way back to 9. Remarkable. 40%. Again, and then 9 back up to 13. Okay, another 40% move. Back down, another 40% moves. Down, up again. So why not? Why would we? And this goes for all crypto that are going to moon like this. Okay, why would we not wait for the next opportunity? I mean, Ren here on an hourly basis, the way I would look at it, and it's a good time frame, go down for a type 2. Why not? Or even as low as the hop level. But that's, in all this craziness, we're still applying the type 1, type 2. But I do like Ren because it's one of these T coins that are, again, it's 95% off its all-time high. Massive patterns down here. Massive. I mean, and most of them are around 13 cents. Target ones on these that's 55. But you might go through a couple more months of this up and down gyration, 15 cents to 8 cents. Could be really frustrating. Be aware of that. Why is Ren so harmonic? Because whatever the deal is with Ren, I mean, it's a great question. I think about how these are trading, where I think what's happening is the people that are running these pools and running really, and there are pools of people who are running this crypto in terms of being the main operator of the flow, where they can push the price up and down, are responding completely on an emotional basis. So that's why when you get, say, 1618 extensions, that's typically about it, because most of it's artificial, quite frankly. Not to say that you can't trade it, but just know that if you get big moves, capture it. Yeah, SPY's rolling over. Yeah, that was a first midday fail on that midday signal. Did nothing. It was a dud. But you're back down on the VWAP. All the VWAP people will come in here in about 2 minutes. I'll come back. I'll circle back that in SPY in a second. I do want to look at the total indices. It's been a week. And, total itself, 1.6, 1.16. Fairly impressive. This is what you have on the chart. It's a lot like Ethereum. It's an alternate bat. We just got a dot yesterday. So I would again expect with a dot, even in the strongest of moves, to still take time. Look at your last dot. Go back to January. It was real strong coming off the low. I mean, extremely strong. Still went through a pause. That's probably what we're going to see here over the next, I don't know, there's 30 days, easy. I mean, this was 30 days of range-bound action. There's the dot. 30 days is like there. And notice how it stayed in that range, and this could do much the same. A little bit higher, a little bit lower than yesterday's bar, but something like this. Where's 30? Around the 20th of April. And, come up, maybe back down again. And do this pause. Back up like that. And that's how it will go for the rest of the year. As we get into next year's halving cycle, we're going to get big thrusts. They're not going to be absolute moons, but they're going to just kind of be continuation thrusts. And then you'll pause, grind sideways, and then get set up for the next launch pad. Evan's asking, if you have 1 million to buy 1 Bitcoin for insurance, if you have 500,000 to buy half a Bitcoin, it's not a bad insurance policy. Look, I think Bitcoin, you're not thinking about anything other than, is it going to be 5 figures or 6 figures? That's it. Is Bitcoin eventually, are you playing for Bitcoin to go to 6 figures from here? Because you want to be buying it here, and you're making the assumption that it's not going to go to 4 figures. That's where you are in the long-term process of it all. Same with the indices. You need to see the money continue to flow, no matter if the projects are garbage or not. You need overall indices like Total 3 here to continue to expand. So Total 1 looks a lot better than Total 3, but Total 3 is a bat pattern. It's retesting 399, 400 billion. And no confirmation up here, but you are looking at this maybe to be the cap for this current rally for now. Come up a little bit more, trigger above 400 billion, and then come back down. And this is the thing where it sets up for later in the year that maybe this is 30 days like this. Go to the right, 30 days. 30 days from the reaction low. All right, puts you right around the 10th or 9th of April. So we can still trade higher into the zone for the next 2 weeks, have a correction, and what should happen is that should resolve what needs to happen off the bearish pattern. And then when you go and you break out above 431, 435 billion, that's your acceleration point, because the pattern's failed. You'll have had enough time to the right here to stabilize your long-term downtrend, and you have the big patterns. I mean, you have, like all of them, you have this crab pattern, which really suggests, and this might be a controversial statement, but the type of crab pattern that's shooting off of here, and the fact that it's really anchored off of the last run up to the all-time high and then dumped is the way I would look at that. If it was a 5-minute chart, I would say that's a reactive, it's an overreaction, temporary harmonic impulse wave that will at least go become a 50% retracement. You can say that this is a shark. It's a crab pattern, but it also is a bullish shark down here like this, right at the 113. I mean, that is amazing, right at the 113. And what do sharks do? They become 5-0 patterns like this. And and that's a minimum 720 billion, or go to the 618. So this is just structurally the way this has come together, as high as 820 billion. That's a double from current levels, but that's what you have here. I know it's it's tough to see. There's too many lines on here. Let me just hide the patterns and just connect dots. Here, I'll hide the patterns. And I'll hide, let me move moving average. Just take that out. I'll hide it all. If we're just connecting dots, which really is the basis of all harmonic patterns, structurally, it has to be there. So there's your ABC super tight impulsive wave up. Throw it down to a minimum 1618, 886 convergence, which is there, but can go as low as a 113, which is right there. And so, and I think this is, in the end, it's a crab, but it's probably more like a shark, leads to a 50% retracement as your minimum objective on this. It gets you to there. Yeah, it gets you right there. I think that's, and then maybe do something like that. But I'm just curious on how we come off of this low. We take out the obvious. Everyone's going to be looking at the obvious resistance. Yes, there's a Wyckoff accumulation thing going on here. I won't get into that too much, but I'm interested in from here to there first. And with the way that's set up, you break out over, it could be a few more months, but when you break out, you're going to shoot that gap in a major way. Beyond that, I'm just, I'll take it in chunks, but you're really close to setting that in motion. And in terms of the crab pattern itself, it has been set in motion. We saw that in Bitcoin, especially. Keep an eye on all that. Total DeFi index as well. It's kind of good to look at as a more speculative creature. Hasn't done as well as the others, hasn't made as much progress, but it's not rolling over. And this is probably would be one of the first ones where, if these are real T coins that are crappy, that aren't going to do anything, we'd probably be rolling over to the lows. So target 1, 977 billion, yeah. Let's keep an eye on all that. I mean, I'm thinking it's, crypto led by Bitcoin, just like last time. Once you get above 30,000 on Bitcoin, you're going to see a massive rush in. Massive. Let's take one more look. Yeah, I mean, look, after yesterday and everything, we're still above 28,000. And we're going to check HSI, but look, keep an eye on this. Again, we're at the limit for the being overbought right now. Where's HSI on the Binance? Yeah, I took off my arrows. Sorry, that's why we're not getting arrows. Here's arrows. There you go. So let's let's look for a dot. You're going to look for a bearish candle. I don't think it's going to be today. It could be tomorrow. It could be over the weekend. But nothing will happen until next week. And don't be surprised, even if we tried to push slightly higher, it's really going to the right now. And you resolve this 2 of 2 of the shark pattern, however you do it. I'm looking at the next downside. Look for the next bullish signal to be the one that sets it off. What else we got? You think we'll get a million Bitcoin in 10 years? Who knows? Who knows? I think you have to really just take it in chunks. And again, I think the first big chunk is a run to 37,000, 38,000, with the possibility as high as 48 for that move. There it is on the Binance feed. Those are your two clear objectives. And I did this on Tuesday, and I think we need to be talking more and more about Bitcoin as it makes progress, because you're going to see a wave of FOMO. The Bitcoin conference here in Miami is in May. Will we be above 30,000 by May? Probably. And that'll bring a lot more people into it. But we have precedent. We have big precedent on, say, weekly time frames. Go back to, there you go. I mean, these patterns, these big patterns on the weekly that were there, the current patterns we have on the daily, if we've had a pattern, if it's daily or weekly, okay, you've gone to target one. And we talked about these on Tuesday, but just to give you a relevant kind of time perspective, if this is target one at 37,000, we're like right here or right here, first thrust kind of a thing. And even with that massive pattern, you're still talked about months as it started to grind higher. And every bearish candle, it just brought in a lot of FUD that just, thing shot straight through. Still, a lot of takeaway, a lot of past history that I don't think is going to change much. The character of Bitcoin is basically the same in terms of its bull and bear cycles. That once you put in those lows and you start busting out and you take out obvious levels, yeah, it's big. And I think it's going to be like this. Our target one, pretend that's 38,000. Essentially 10,000, 9,000 back in 2019. Doesn't matter. The measured objective was reached. They pierced it, some consolidation. And then when it ran for target two and exploded through, that's what you're going to want to look for. Because if we get an explosion through our targets, then jump on board for the full breakout move that we talked about on Tuesday. I put up some crazy numbers. But that's what you're playing for. On this move, you're playing for the end of the bear market. You're playing for an accumulation for Bitcoin, no matter where that is, for a slow build to eventually get to some targets and then go into full acceleration mode. That does get you to all-time new highs. I'm not going to put a number on it. I mean, we suggested a few things. Like I said last time, whether it's a 1618 extension or a 314, I think just let's stay conservative of, say, for now, 382 off the top gets you to 38,000, 50% correction, 45, which is the takeaway on the shark too, that if we have a shark, and that's what we're trying to figure out, what was the pattern that marked the low in Bitcoin? It could be a crab, probably more like a shark. Shark has to go to a 5-0. Has to, mechanically, automatically. How much time? It can take months, a year or more. But that's 45,000. Keep an eye on that. Okay, who wants a gold membership? Let's do that. And first person to type in gold wins. Give you one. And also come back to this here of getting over on our Discord. Again, over here on the Discord, Harmonic Pattern Central, everything that you want to see. Go through all of the different threads. I have not really given this enough feature. Who won it? Hi, I'm Godsu. You win. All right, so get on the Discord, Godsu, and send a note. But check out all the materials here, and everything that you would want is available, especially information on the software. Oh, look at this. Oh, great. David posted that back in January. Creating alerts for the dot and TradingView. Great stuff. All right, really quick. Let's jump back because I want to talk about, before I get out of here, crude oil and gold. And crude oil is going to be just a broader takeaway that has happened now that we can't ignore. And I think it's, it was kind of hidden in the same way the recent peak in early 2022 came in. Like, if we didn't know about it, you're not going to find it. But let's talk all-time chart. So we had a perfect 886 right at the top at 120. I was a little slow to really recognize that, but the other thing that I was suggesting, that if that's an 886 and we were theorizing how a major blow-off move in crude oil could happen, well, I said maybe we get a B point. Then we get a minimum 382 to be the C point for a deep crab that goes to a 1618 or higher. This is a long-term structural read. But in light of a lot of the fundamental factors, I was looking for the breakout in 2021. We didn't get it. We stalled out right at that 886, and we bailed on energy. But now we need to kind of warm back up to it, because it's at the 382 spot where even on the monthly chart, it's probably a lot cleaner to look at. Your 382 is right around 63. Yesterday, or sorry, was it this month? It was a couple days ago. We hit a low of 64. And depending on what market, here you go. Let me get back to that. There it is down here. Yeah, about 64.50. So in terms of that monthly, and it's an all-time metric, that hit. And I want to look at that as the starting point for looking for other smaller term, small-time triggers in the entire complex. Because what it potentially could be is a bigger continuation longer term, and I'm talking years. But this current correction from a year ago has all the markings of a sharp 382 pullback. We had this like there on the XLE, essentially a perfect 382 pullback in last summer. And the stocks have been holding up stronger, and we're currently in a type 2 on the monthly for XLE as well. So it's early, but I'm going to start coming back around on this to say, okay, if something gets down here, we hit big levels, energy is probably going to trigger the first patterns in about 3 years where you want to start jumping back on it. XLE has got a big deep crab right now at around 75 with confirmation. That will likely be a new 3 ideas, but the relative position long term for crude oil is finally come around. Again, we're going to see some kind of crazy gas market take shape. I'm thinking it's off of this big all-time 382 correction. Where's the XOI or OIH? There you go. And we knew last year, we talked about these massive patterns. That's why we were inexplicably bearish. I mean, for most people would say, why would you be bearish on crude oil? We had big patterns. And here's XOI. All right, 318 on the top side. Now with last week's correction coming down, all right, I think we're coming into some pretty nice areas. Could be a small term swing trade, but I like what happened there, and I want to start looking at it. There's XOI, amazing. What's the other one? No, sorry, that's OIH. XOI is the other one I want to look at. There you go. Similar patterns up here. This one still needs to come down a little bit to its target one. And crude oil itself, CL, I'm going to wait for 63, but you got close is what I'm saying. And I want to look for what happens here after this retracement's done. Maybe it's another 2 or 3 months, but it's time to start getting eyeballs back on crude oil in general. Could be set up for later in the year, and then it's a continuation play. Here's something that was a past 3 ideas for members, real speculative, but look at it now. And this might be a new 3 ideas, but it was a beautiful type 1. This is fuel cell. This is a lot like the Bloom Energy and Plug Power and a few others. But it's a perfect type 2 off the butterfly. You do have a bat pattern. Coming back down 255 area. And these are crazy, and this might seem crazy, but look at GameStop. GameStop was another one. Take a look, folks. It was a perfect 2 of 2. I know I mentioned this before. We were looking at the XA level of the crab at around 1768. You had a shark on the retest, and that's why it exploded. Right back around $15, $16. Keep an eye on a lot of these. Where they are relative position of being in a 2 of 2, that's a perfect example of why the confirmation level, the retest, is your better opportunity. And you had it. We had a yellow dot for 2-3 days before it exploded. Couple more. The banks. Okay, I mentioned this, I think, on Tuesday. Where is Bank of America? So I'm watching Bank of America right now because we are on a 2 of 2, rate at 28. It's potentially going to fail. 28.11, right at 28 has been our entry. Confirmation, same area. So I'm looking at that because that could be the one problem with all of this. If these don't hold, or even better, the XLF, because they've retested the patterns. Here's XLF. You have confirmation. Here are the patterns from last July and October. Some big patterns. All right. Might just be that it's more like a weekly, needs to be a weekly assessment because look, you do have the weekly pattern. So you take away a lot of the daily stuff, that smooths it out. So where should we be looking at this? XLF's trading at 31. Currently, the XA full retest is at 29.42. So maybe I'm a little early here for Bank of America. XLF, I think that's the one to watch. especially going into next week. If we don't hold or you break down under 3082, that you're going to shoot there or lower. That would be the type 2. Also note, weekly is oversold. So that's got to resolve itself. I would feel a lot better about the markets turning up across the board if this could get tested in an easy, kind of calm fashion. Maybe a sell off next week, hit it, and then reverse. But I don't think this thing is over yet with the banks. It will be if we can retest that area. I mean, look at the Regions Financial. Where is it? Where's Regions? Yeah. All right, at least that's coming up. No, it's not Regions. It's First Republic. First Republic, there you go. That's the bank what's that doing today? That's 12. So this could be the next one to go under, is this First Republic. And that is an issue. Look, yellow dot, but is there a pattern there? No. Unlike some of the other ones. Take care. Thanks. Unlike some of the other ones on the longer term, like XLF, at least that has a pattern. This one doesn't have a pattern. Here's PNC. It was another one that I'm liking, but I've not yet. Look, you're at the hop level, but we need confirmation. So maybe the banks need another 2 weeks. We're not out of the woods yet. It's looking better. Let's circle back where we started. I see we have another yellow dot, so I might take another shot here. SPY on a 5-minute. There you go. SPY's trying to print a dot, not yet. The Qs did print a dot. So this dot failed and didn't take much for us to see. I cashed out on, I lost half of my premium on that 314. But I'm going to look to re-enter. Probably on the Qs, because I went in on the, go back into those 314s, but down here maybe. We just finished that dot. Let's see if we get a retest and the 30-second time frame. Any pattern, a little short-term pattern? Oh, take a look. All right, looks like we have a little shark pattern. The type, yeah, it's still type 1. But this low at basically 311 has to hold. And where are we currently? Not yet. Not yet. I'll watch that. I'm going to take another shot on this because, again, folks, the QQQ daily, you want to know what the market's going to do? It all comes down to the SPY and QQQ charts. And we're type 2 now. It's official. But we want that to retest. Kick back, retest, check back, no matter what. At 315 and still give you 2 bearish candles. Then if that happens, all right, I'll look for the possibility for a correction. But that's next week. It's not tomorrow. It's not even Monday. It might not even be Tuesday. It might even be next Thursday. Like if you're really worried about the market, it's then. As for the rest of it, crypto, whatever, I think you got to line up more opportunities. Let that first thrust thing work itself out. But start accumulating and load in the bags. Load in the bags. 5-minute QQQ. I've been watching. I've mentioned this before, and I know all these guys are doing this right now. A bunch of people are looking at VWAP. Okay, and there's a VWAP retest where a lot of these guys are probably going to try to buy this. And I've been wanting to kind of highlight something that what I'm seeing with the VWAP and a dot is a lot better than just a VWAP test. So some of you guys I know do VWAP. I love patterns, and we do have some patterns down here, intraday patterns, all around 311.20, 311.30. But if you haven't brought up the VWAP before. Put it on your chart. Take a look at some of the information. I think it's a good directional tool, and especially with the dot coming in at the right spot, it's helpful. I mean, this morning I was looking at VWAP this morning and said, okay, VWAP trying to base. Which way is it going to go? We're going to go continue lower, or are we going to go higher? Well, the last signal before the open was a bullish, and once we started breaking above, that was a nice continuation trade. I'll talk more about that next time. So again, but let's give away one more gold membership. I gave away too many today. GOLD, first person to type that in wins the gold. Connect with me on Discord. Miss Stephanie, send her a note for the last people that have hung in here who wants a gold. And then we'll be back on Tuesday. Folks, we aren't doing a kind of the end of the quarter rush. Hey, the Jokerism. You win a gold, my man. So definitely reach out to us over here on the Discord. And we know who did it. You know, we've got a record of all the winners. And come back next Thursday for another giveaway Thursday. But get on the Discord, folks. This is where it's happening. I'm posting charts in here, not only for gold members, but for in the basic area as well. So get with that and get with the software. So I think we're going to do an end of the month coupon code giveaway, so you can sign up and get 10% off. You want to take advantage of that, just sign up and we'll send you the information. All right, until Tuesday, have a great weekend. Go get them. I'm looking long for the rest of the QQQ for today, so let's see if this works out. Trying to get those 313s, or sorry, so 313s. Let's see. And we'll be back on Tuesday, 12 noon Eastern. So hit me up on the Discord if you have questions. Until then, we'll see you next time. Go get them.